What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Swolecast, episode 13 here at the Offseason. And this is the pre-Scott Fishbowl 10 episode. This is the pre-4th of July episode. And this is the Backwards Hat Gang episode. Tuttle, where's your backwards hat, bro?
All right, be right back.
All right, man. Gosh,
wait,
guy.
This is a cool moment because Tuttle's energy levels are notoriously low. This harkens back to the time he ran off screen and came back wearing a kimono. So, I think we might be getting old Tuttle back right now.
All right, very, very nice. Until odds are that he's in the Scott Fishbowl or what? Plus 1,000?
Odds that Tuttle, percentage chances that Tuttle's in the Scott Fishbowl is same as the number of sentences he'll say on this show, about 8%.
Got that Playboy fantasy FanDuel Playboy swag hat.
Love that TBT, bro.
Well, this is a family show, Tuttle. I mean, to be promoting. There we go.
Matches
the bros are here.
The Swolecast bros. But how are you guys more excited about Scott Fishbowl or 4th of July?
Scott Fishbowl.
Dude, I'm so excited about
Scott Fishbowl. Real quick question. Is Scott watching?
Yes.
The Scott Fishbowl, baby. Let's go.
I love the Scott Fishbowl. I will just say that
have you ever made the playoffs in your division?
Last year is the first year ever. And so I gotta keep it going. The key to the Scott Fishbowl playoffs is the waiver wire. That's waiver wire because
0% accurate.
No, that is correct.
It is wholly inaccurate, but I am not surprised that that's what you think.
What do you think it is, Davis? Do you think it's all the draft?
I think it's draft. I think it's getting the positional values correct because every year the positional values shift just a little bit, and figuring out the right way to deal with the way that Scott does the scoring is the key.
Can't draft Jameis in -4 INT leagues.
It was -4 INT last year, and Jameis was the 14th highest scorer in the whole thing.
Davis, you are in the same division as at Clutch Fantasy.
No, Scott's.
You're not?
Scott actually messaged me and was like, what's the deal with this? And I was like, we just don't like each other. And Scott was like, this is supposed to be for fun. So he switched the guy out. And game theory gone bad. I'm in a division with Sean Siegel, so bad beat.
Sounds like Davis went out.
Wait, are you saying that it was completely random that you guys were in?
It was random.
And Davis wimped out of this match.
I didn't say 1,400 teams. Davis thinks that Jacob Rickroad is a donkey. At Clutch Fantasy on Twitter, if you want to follow him.
He's in our YouTube chat.
Thinks he's a donkey, and yet doesn't want to play in his conference with him.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just going to call it how I see
weak.
it, Davis, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I think that the risk of you getting beat in that league by Jacob was more than you were willing to handle.
No, historically, I'm really good at this. I've never missed the playoffs in the 4 years I've played, and I've made the semifinals twice.
So why?
I disagree.
So why? In this, if there was anything that could bring you two together, wouldn't it be the spirit of the Scott Fishbowl?
Scott DM'd me and said, "Is there a thing I don't know about? Did you guys request the same division?" And I just said, "I requested the 104. We don't like each other. It's not a big deal." Scott said, "I may move one of you. SFB is supposed to be fun and positive. No need to fuel flames."
So the only thing, Davis, is this is really bad optics for you because it does look like you're running from him.
Yep. Jacob wins this round, in my opinion.
Wow. It's not hands even down. Close.
Nope, hands down.
I'm pretty confident that it's not that big of a deal.
I'm pretty sure this is the biggest deal
of
the century. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal.
Of all the stuff going on in 2020, this ranks pretty high up on the list of big deals. Wow, you're like the mom who's super protective of their kid and wants to move him out of the class because they don't get along with somebody else.
Not. Yeah, I mean, doesn't really feel like that big of a deal. Like we're both still competing in this. So
maybe you guys can book a side bet for, most points
That's what
scored.
I was thinking. Like, is Scott Fishbowl,
Sure.
like it could generate so much like positivity. Like Davis, I know you.
here's what
you enjoy a gathering of negativity.
Yep.
So here's what Kitchen doesn't understand, because his Twitter presence is so menial that when people take shots at you and you are established, you have basically nothing to gain, because if you beat them, they'll just say, well, that's expected. And if you lose, people get to be like, oh, I beat you. You suck. And
so this is exactly what I said. Yep. This is exactly what I just said, is that the risk of him beating you was too high. Like for your brand.
I'm fine to book some sort of side bet. I didn't particularly care either way. I didn't say anything.
A lot better if you wouldn't have ran.
I do like Dave's galaxy brain theory of, if we get a gathering of negativity, it could ultimately reduce or result in a lot of positivity and good for the community. It's like two wrongs canceling each other out and making a right.
Well, if anything could bring, like, you could raise money. You could take the gathering of negativity and raise money from, people wanting to do whatever you could. But the name is Scott Fishbowl. But I understand. I think I understand as far as Davis goes. Anyways,
what I take away from this is Davis hates charities. Davis hates, hungry people, hungry kids that don't have lunches without school.
Okay, so
pull us back, Dave. Get us back.
Dave doesn't know how to bring that one back.
Yeah. So everyone. Peter, you were looking forward to 4th of July.
The thing I love most about 4th of July, Dave, is it brings our country together. It doesn't matter religion, race, creed. We all come together and celebrate this great country we live in. And that's what I love about that holiday.
Yeah. All right. Same. I will be smoking a pork butt. I will be. You saw me say smoking. You thought I was
just thinking you just cheebing on a big one, dude.
No, that big one's gonna be a big thing of pulled pork. Is what it's gonna be. That big one's gonna be the big green egg. Oh, I missed that. All right. So we got to talk about Cam Newton, because that was the big story this week. Lots going around the Cam Newton hot take. If poor Tyler Higbee got overshadowed by Cam Newton this week, barely. But Cam Newton signs with the Patriots. What was your first thought, Davis?
Seems like we all knew this was going to happen for like 2 months. There was no way they were going to go with Stidham from week one. There were some pretty good futures to be had out there. Cam Newton, like plus 400 to be the starting quarterback week one for the Patriots, which were some of the softest action you'll get out there, because donkeys were betting Stidham and Hoyer and stuff.
Pete,
I'll never forget where I was when I heard the news. I was sitting right
here
at my
Patriots
computer.
fan. You're a big Patriots fan, so
I am. It's been hard for me to stomach this. It's been a roller coaster. Seeing touchdown Tommy leave the state, and I was worried about Stidham. We haven't seen a lot from him, and to bring in Cam Newton, I was overjoyed. It's nice to get a real quarterback back in New England, and I think Super Bowl is back on the table, Dave. Let's go Patriots.
It is crazy though that he didn't have anywhere to go, and then he lands with the Pats. Tuttle, your theory on this, what is it?
They got him for cheap, man. Why not? I'm actually, so people are cracking down on Siege a little bit with his Stidham still the starter takes. His logic is not quite there. But if I was going to take a bet, I would. Are
you telling me that CJ Colton's box logic is not quite there on his
it's
subject?
Quite,
I don't know if I believe you.
It's disconnected in a lot of places here. But if I had to bet on who would be the starting quarterback, I would take whoever is plus money. Just because I think it's pretty close to 50-50 at this point. And if I can I think Stidham's at like around plus 300 right now. So if I can get that implied probability where he's 35-40% range, I'd take that right now.
I mean, there's definitely some injury concern, obviously. 2 shoulder surgeries, the Liz Frank injury. Like, the fact that nobody else Davis, do you think it's the fact that no one else wanted him or the fact that no one else wanted him as a starter? Obviously, Mariota got paid. You take a look at in Hardett's, push this as far as like Cam Newton getting $550,000 guaranteed. In Hardett's mentioned that Chase Daniel
got $8 million guaranteed.
$5 million guaranteed with a 3-year, $13 million contract. So, do you think it's like the whole starter or not issue? Like I don't know. I'm just blown away that the only team was the Patriots.
I mean, I do think there's a lot of franchises where you can point to the investment they made to how much they're going to commit to it. Like we look at the Texans with David Johnson and what they gave up to get him. And they want to save face and make that trade look like it was better. But the Patriots, more so than any of organization, have shown us that it's a true meritocracy there, that whoever they think is the best is going to play. It does not matter how much money's invested in them. So I'm less looking into how much they gave him as a reason to say he won't be the starter. I'd rather just evaluate it straight up for talent, which I think that's what the Pats are going to
do. All right. Yeah, I would imagine that the reason Cam Newton was not signed by a team earlier was we talked about this earlier on the show this offseason, but just there really was a surplus of quarterbacks for the first time that we can remember. Guys who've been starters in the NFL for years, like Andy Dalton, are signing backup deals. The Los Angeles Chargers have 2 guys who are probably starter quality in Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Jameis Winston took the $1.1 million deal with New Orleans Saints after leading the NFL in passing yards. And then the health stuff with Cam too. It was hard to get Cam Newton to a team facility and take physicals and actually watch him work out when you couldn't fly places, right? Like you literally could not have team workouts. So, and I think probably the Patriots' plan this whole time was to sign a veteran and not go in with Hoyer and Stidham. And I think that, I think they would have been fine with Andy Dalton. I think they would have been fine with Jameis. I think they would have been fine with Cam. And they kind of just waited to get the best deal possible, which is what Belichick always does.
All right.
Do we know for sure Cam did not have any other offers, or are we just assuming that based on how little they paid for him?
Well, the Chargers said the Chargers were one of the rumored teams for a while, and they said like we're not interested with Herbert and Tyrod that they were already paying. And once Jameis signed with the Saints, the team that was most irresponsible in the way they treated the quarterback market this offseason, I think, was the Steelers, because we saw they basically have the 2 worst backup quarterbacks, like might be the 56th and the 58th best quarterbacks in the league in Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges, and Ben Roethlisberger is held together by like masking tape at this point. Them not signing Jameis basically seems terrible.
My question is, does Cam sign anywhere else for this contract?
He probably wanted to sign with the Patriots, right? Because he would like to win.
He's not going to sign a backup QB spot anywhere. This is the one spot he could win a starting job right off the bat.
I thought I saw somewhere where Cleveland may have expressed interest, but didn't pursue it. But
I don't know if I would want that, because Cam might be better than Baker right now.
So. All right. Let's
assume like the next part of this conversation is, right, are we going to have the whole offseason like the Pats are going to use 2 QBs? They're going to have different packages for Cam
I've already seen that. I've already seen that thrown out.
Yeah, I know it's coming.
They're just going to use. All right. So let's assume that Cam is the starter. Would you put him as a top 12 quarterback? So, if you've got a 12-team league, would you put him as one of the starters in that league, or would he be a backup, Davis?
I projected him for 14 games, so 90% of the passing attempts and 18% of the rushing attempts for the Patriots, and I have him as QB8 right now with 2 missed games.
Wow.
But that's assuming that he can run, which last year in the 2 games that he played, he had exactly 1 run. Literally, in 2 games, he ran 1 time. Remember that Thursday night game against the Buccaneers? They had the 4th and goal to win the game, and they called that weird pitch play to McCaffrey on the edge instead of running, the quarterback power or whatever. So, I mean, I think maybe there's a big chance that this projection is wrong. If Cam can't run, he's going to be useless for fantasy, more or less.
Isn't that kind of the slogan to your projections? Underneath it just says there's a big chance that these projections are wrong.
I mean, if you're using a Bayesian approach, that should be the way you view all projections anyway.
So,
all right,
what format do we prefer Cam in then?
Like tournament formats. I think you like him.
Best ball. Where's the best ball layup for Overzet?
No, I know, but like if Davis is QB8 though, if Davis is QB8, he's not a best ball guy.
He's not going to get drafted anywhere near there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's already going high.
No. Davis could just take him later on. # late round QB. My fill-in.
The problem with guys like Cam in best ball is guys who have these super wide range of outcomes. You actually like them less in best ball because you can't cut them and replace them. So I'm not really interested in. I mean, obviously, I will take Cam in some best balls over the next couple months, I imagine, but he's actually clearly worse in that format.
All right, I thought Peter was going to be the high one as QB8, but I don't even think he's going to beat QB8. Pete, where do you have Cam?
Yeah, so I was actually adjusting my ranks just before we came on. Right now, I did move him up to QB 17. I mean, the whole thing, too, about there's so many issues with when Cam was a fantasy monster, it was because he was rushing a lot. He was getting those goal line carries. He had a lot of good weapons. I guess maybe early on when he only had Kelvin Benjamin, it wasn't that great.
When did he have good weapons, Pete? You need to walk that one back because that's never been true.
You're right. I'll just take the L on that one.
Chris Hogan.
I guess the Greg Olsen, Kelvin Benjamin isn't making any.
Imagine the temper tantrums Brady would have thrown if the Patriots were like, all right, here's Kelvin Benjamin, go throw this guy 120 targets.
Yeah. So let's just say he has similar weapons that he's used to. I still think that offense is going to want to be run heavy. We have to wonder, is he going to get utilized around the goal line? I think there's question marks. I think you got to have him outside of your top 15 quarterbacks.
You know who's a better Cam Newton than Cam Newton at this point in his career?
Who?
Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd take Tannehill over Cam in any drafts.
Yes. All right. Davis, do you agree with that?
Cam Newton right now is going over the last 4 days in the Football Guys Players Championship, quarterback 15, ahead of Baker, ahead of Ben Roethlisberger, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, and Ryan Tannehill, who's going as the quarterback 23, and I think that's about right.
It's because people are fish in that league. All right. Tuttle, where would you have him ranked above Baker and Tannehill?
I mean, I hate Ryan Tannehill, so yeah, definitely above Ryan Tannehill. Baker's. Yeah, I'll rank him above both of those. But once we start getting to like the Daniel Jones range, give me Daniel Jones, man.
Daniel Jones goes QB 14, directly ahead of Cam.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not ranking him QB 8. That's for sure.
I ranked him QB 13 when I just did my rankings this morning.
And it was funny how people were like, well, N'Keal Harry, stock up, give him a bump. But, like, we still don't know what N'Keal Harry really is. Like, he's a better
stylistic fit than Edelman, for sure.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at is that we still don't know, like, what kind of weapons that he has. And if he's not the same Cam Newton as what he once was in a run-heavy offense, it just feels like Phil Davis. I'm just going to say QB8 feels a little high for him, but you guys stay on brand.
That's why I wouldn't rank him.
And I appreciate that.
I'm not ranking there. I ranked him QB 13, but the projections are not the rankings.
What's his ceiling?
I mean, the ceiling is he's totally healthy. they have this super run heavy offense, and they use, because, Sony is so dust, they just use him as the goal line back every time down there, and he scores like 12 rushing touchdowns or something.
But to Tuttle's point about like what the betting markets would be for Stidham versus Cam week 1 starter, if you look at any other quarterbacks that are going to be in, say, your top even 20, maybe top 18, aren't all of them like 95% or higher to be the starter?
Week 1. Yeah.
So take an injury for them not to.
Right. So then to have Cam that high with that much risk to him not even starting, that seems like it should be baked in a little more. I'm just trying to punch up your projections,
I agree,
bro.
Man. I agree.
All right.
You're basically with where you have him projected. You're basically assuming he's 100% starting week 1. So even if you take pessimistic projections and say, or optimistic, I should say, and give him an 80% chance, it's still gonna dock him quite a bit.
This show's getting a little too into the spreadsheets for my liking, guys.
We do have to move on. We're going to be talking about Scott Fishbowl, but first we have an exciting offer that Pete's going to tell us about.
Oh, yeah. This is really exciting. I've been talking behind the scenes with everyone at Roto-Grinders. I'm like, what can we offer to our loyal fans and viewers? Something with an extremely high valuation, something that would get everyone super excited to be a part of this community. And I want everyone to know in 23 minutes, we are going to be giving away the largest pass that we've ever given away in our entire life. And this is
like a monthly pass?
No, this is a lifetime subscription on iTunes to the Swolecast. So
What would you value something like that at?
I was going back and forth with Cal, big numbers guy. We put it at roughly $1 million valuation.
That might be low. Come on. Swolecast family.
Hey, you say that, but Cal, CEO of Roto-Grinders, he actually won $1 million based on the Swolecast and the George Kittle take from Dan Gaspar.
The floor.
That the floor is $1 million. I mean, it's the upside. This could be like RBX 88 style where you win multiple millionaire makers. This could be a $3-4 million valuation. So all you guys have to do is you have to go and follow Swolecast on Twitter. You just have to keep watching, and you will be eligible to subscribe to iTunes for the podcast feed, which drops every Friday morning or Thursday afternoon in that feed.
That would be life-changing. Like behind marriage and having kids.
Yeah.
I think that would be up there.
The Swolecast has its own separate feed on iTunes. So just search Swolecast, you'll see it. Also own separate feed on YouTube. So make sure you follow at Swolecast on Twitter, because this is a deal that you cannot pass up. Also hearing that this week's iTunes version is going to be slightly edited as well.
I'm also hearing those reports.
Yeah. So let's talk about Scott Fishbowl 10. SFBX. If you see it on your timeline, it is because everyone
It's because somehow got through your mute filter.
Yeah. I will say, I love Scott Fishbowl. As soon as Scott Fishbowl starts, the people that are mocking it, and they've started a whole Slack, not even like a Slack
the
chat,
the 104 Discord is bopping at all times.
Yeah, they have a 108 because I'm the 8th pick. You guys are the 4th pick, and I had to mute my my Twitter channel because and I understand it.
That's a really negative thing to do.
That's literally a gathering of negativity, dude.
Peter, have you muted your Twitter channel? Anything to do with Scott Fishbowl?
You know what? Quite the contrary.
Peter, answer the
I'm going to tell you what I did. I followed every single person that has the 104, and I turned notifications on for all of their tweets.
No, you did not. You did not do that.
My phone is just like a slot machine of notifications. I can't get enough.
All right. So Scott Fishbowl, obviously based on the saint of the fantasy industry, Scott Fish, has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity through the official start of the fantasy football season. 1,400 teams in it this year. You can already sign up for next year's Scott Fishbowl. Go to scottfishbowl.com for that. But
Did you hear
every
those
year is
instructions,
different.
Tuttle? You hear those instructions how to get in?
We got to get Tuttle in next year, right?
Just got fish.
Tuttle, have you even like thought about signing up for Scott Fishbowl ever?
No, I saw the shirts. I think the Lego shirt I was thinking about buying. That's about the commitment I was
it's sold
willing
out.
to put in. Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Too bad.
I have like 3 of the past 4 years. I always think about the shirt after it sold out, but I got 2 from last year, so that's good.
I will say you guys aren't doing a great job of selling it by hearing that there's discords for draft positions. That's like sounds like my nightmare personally.
But you don't have to join them. Like, but people are taking this so seriously that that they are like already discussing game theory for like the first couple rounds of the draft.
Tuttle, I think you're kind of not understanding the community aspect of these chats. Like, for instance, Lauren and I are going to be renewing our vows, and a guy in the 104 chat is going to be my best man. And things just kind of move fast, and you make a lot of friends that you have for life. So I keep an open mind about it.
Yeah.
All right, and that's one of the reasons why I had to also get onto my my burner account is because the notifications from the tweets I'm getting from the from our league and from the draft position stuff. So it's crazy.
What's the big target back in 108 land? I can't even imagine that conversation. You guys talking a lot of tight ends, I imagine.
I was telling Leone that I'm pretty sure the 108 is like the stone worst of all of the draft spots. I think that would be the one that I would rank last of the 12.
It's like in that no man's land territory.
Well, you miss Lamar and Mahomes, and then you miss the 5 workhorse running backs.
Yeah.
So you got to take.
But I love the tight ends. I would be going Kelsey or Kittle from 108 if they're there.
Davis, explain the since you have already written your column on Scott Fishbowl. Explain the scoring settings for people that are listening.
So it's pretty interesting. These are the main wrinkles that make it different from a regular league. First is that you start 10 players, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 4 flexes with 1 super flex, minus 4 points for an interception, minus 6 points for a pick six. And then what really wrinkles it is that you get minus 1 for every sack, minus 1 for every incompletion, and 0.5 points for every completion. And then tight ends get a bonus 0.5 for reception and a bonus 0.5 for first down. So what the first down scoring does is Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Christian McCaffrey. Not only are these dudes getting, insane amounts of receptions,
Derrick
but
Henry.
Yeah, I don't know if Derrick Henry meets this qualification, but like the guys who get a ton of volume already, just that extra first down points, like these dudes can just routinely throw up like 35 points without scoring a touchdown. And there are bonuses for getting to 50 and 100 yards as well.
Yeah. So at the 4 spots, is there like a consensus number 4? Or do you guys not want to tip your hand?
No, I mean, it's kind of all over the map.
Our chat has gotten into some really deep, like bimodal distribution conversations.
No, the funniest thing is everyone's pretty much on board, right? One of the top 2 quarterbacks, Saquon C-Mac. But then we got my guy, Shane Battier, coming in there being like,
Mike Thomas.
He goes, should we hold the 0 RB line? Shane Battier is one of the foremost 0 RB truthers. And he's like telling people he's willing to pass on Saquon and everybody in this chat. And everybody's just so triggered. And I'm loving it. It's really something to see.
Good for him. So do you have any tips for me at the 8 spot? Like, who would you pick at the 8 spot?
I told you.
You got to take Kelsey
or Kittle.
Or Dak or Kyler, I think, are both fine as well.
Blair Andrews wrote an article, and he showed if you started your draft with 5 tight ends, because it's possible to get them based on ADP, then versus just like the other ADP more spread out positionally. And the 5 tight end start was like 10 points projected higher than the regular start. Like the tight ends have huge excess value in this if you can hit the kind of target hog tight ends.
All right. ADP right now has Dalvin Cook as the 8th player off the board.
So Kelsey goes ahead of him because of that uncertainty. Man, what's going to be quite a scene for old Socrdave if he takes Dalvin and Dalvin ends up holding out.
I wouldn't take Dalvin. I would take Derrick Henry over Dalvin just for brand.
Hey, buddy, you'll be able to take Derrick Henry there if you want.
I know.
This is a live look at Kitchen when he finds out Dalvin Cook's holding out for the whole season after drafting him with his first pick in the Scott Fishbowl. I'm glad the T-shirt was sold out.
Well, see, last year I made the playoffs with a holdout running back, Zeke.
Okay.
So, you know how I did it?
Where did you draft?
On the waiver wire, Dave.
On the waiver wire.
That's where all the best teams are built.
That's right. Dak Prescott right now going ahead of Kelsey at number 9. Wow. QB3, Davis, for Dak Prescott?
That's where I have him ranked.
That's been a trendy move for analysts this offseason to have Dak up at QB3 now.
Yeah. But Russ Wilson then overtakes that spot if he gets Antonio Brown. Do you agree, Davis?
No.
Why not?
Is signing Antonio Brown magically going to turn them into a 60-40 pass run team?
Yes, of course.
I don't think so. I don't buy it.
If they sign Antonio Brown.
Of all teams, I have Seattle projected only behind Baltimore in terms of run pass split.
You gotta factor in big play.
I think you also have to factor in. I follow a lot of people on Seahawks Twitter, and they often say, let Russ cook. And if they listen to Seahawks Twitter, I think Russ might cook.
Yeah, if they let Russ cook, it's a whole new ballgame.
You call those insiders.
So Josh Gordon has applied for reinstatement. They could have these 4 receivers, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Flash Gordon, and Antonio Brown. You're telling me you're not going to put him as
what I'm telling
QB3?
You is that you better get ready for a heaping helping of Travis Homer. It's a way of life for them at this point.
All I hear when you list those 4 wide receivers is 2 grown ass men and 2 little slot wide receivers.
Sounds like a lot of targets to the tight end position to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Will Dissly season.
No, we got to get our Hollister season out. Tuttle needs those picks.
So coming back around at the 4 spot, have you already thought about second and third round, like what you want roster construction to be for Scott Fishbowl, Peter?
Yeah, I would like to get one of those quarterbacks, and then my dream start. I swear to God, if anyone in my league is listening to this, I would love to start Lamar. Mark Andrews would be my dream start.
That's a very good start.
That was my other question, is because of the whole tournament style, like how much are you wanting
if you don't
to stack?
You're not going to win. You won't. Like you are choosing to not have a tournament winning team if you're not stacking.
I agree. I agree with you there. Davis, what is your ideal roster construction?
I think I'm going to try.
No worries, because Jacob Rickroad is not listening. Or
I think I'm going to try the Chiefs gambit. I think I'm going to attempt, if I'm able to get Mahomes at 104, I'm going to take Tyreek in the second round, Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the third round, and then of course get McColl in the 9th or 10th round.
And Tuttle, you?
No, I'm just gonna
mute and play League of Legends.
You could do a Titans onslaught if Henry falls to you. You can
do a Titans onslaught really easily.
Yeah.
There may be the worst team. There may be the worst like good offense in this format though, because they're going to run like 400 plays all year long.
Yeah, I was looking at the Socrdave Eliminator League, and spot 8 is Devontae Adams, and that means I would have to get Aaron Rodgers possibly down the road, and I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Is there a league where you could trust the ADP less than the Socrdave Eliminator League? I want to know what gathering of people come out for that one.
Did you see my draft in the Socrdave Eliminator League?
You know, Dave, I didn't.
I actually missed that.
Is Britt Devine
also, I've done these eliminator leagues every year, and I'm still yet to understand like the core concepts. So I am just throwing random darts every year.
One of the core concepts is like because of it's different from the Scott Fishbowl because of team defense. But I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. So I actually took like 6 defenses out of my last 7 or 8 picks. Like it was Anthony McFarland, Tyrell Williams, and then the rest were just defenses. But in this draft, 17 teams, and every week the last team gets eliminated. So I got C-Mac, Baker, Daniel Jones, Ryan Tannehill, Stephon Diggs, Hooper, and then Keshawn Vaughn, Christian Kirk, and Jonnu Smith.
Wow,
that, my friends, is a brand draft.
The thing I thought my first FFC eliminator this year, I thought it was completely positionless. And I was like, man, these quarterbacks keep falling. I started with 4 quarterbacks.
You can only start 2.
I learned that the hard way.
But no, I still do think like 3 to 4 is the optimal number for starters.
Just not starting with 4.
Yeah. I will definitely have some Titans exposure to in the Scott Fishbowl draft. If someone takes that from me, I will legit be upset for sure.
Who's in your division that you know?
So
it's a few different guys. Go ahead, Davis.
Okay, to me, the most interesting wrinkle of all of this is the types of quarterbacks you want to be targeting for your second quarterback are actually radically different in this scoring than in every other Superflex league in existence. In other Superflex leagues, you are really targeting for a guy who can break into that top 12 in weird game scripts. Josh Allen, Daniel Jones. I think Cam Newton is a really good example of a guy who's a good target in Superflex leagues right now. Because of the points per incompletion and the points per sack taken, like Daniel Jones is going to have 6 weeks this year with like -5 or worse. So some of the 5 condom quarterbacks like Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, even Aaron Rodgers really are legit targets in this format because they're just going to have so few weeks where they like actually crush you.
You were asking me about who's in my league. Andrew Erickson from PFF. Do you know him?
Never heard of him.
Oh my gosh. You've never heard of Andrew Erickson? Are you even in the
only PFF guy I know is Ian Hartitz.
So Andrew Erickson is Andrew Erickson _. And if this guy beats me, then we've got serious issues. Just go take a look at his profile pic. Andrew Erickson _. I'm throwing.
Is he not a Titans guy?
Yeah. He is like.
Oh,
this
wow.
is like.
Oh God. He lives in my city.
Yeah. Oh wow. You live there?
Yes.
Stratford lives there too.
Yeah, I know. Trying to keep him at bay.
But yeah, he is. He's got a suit on. He looks like he's maybe 19 or 20, and holding a football. Not even like the Heisman, just holding the football like a loaf of bread. And so gauntlet thrown. I'm not running from this guy. Davis would probably ask for, like, he sees a guy in a business suit with a football. He would probably message Scott, "Can I please get in another league? Can I please get in another league?" Not me. I'm not running from this guy. I would probably run from Brandon. Is it Gadula or Dula? Is the G silent?
Gadula. He's really good.
Gadula. He is a nerd, and he works with JJ, who was on the show last week. There at Number Fire, and he's definitely a sharp guy. He would probably be the number one guy I'm worried about. Also, the guy that introduced me to intermittent fasting like 5 years ago.
You're throwing so many shots at Pete right now. You're really infringing on his brand.
First of all, whatever he did to sell you on it doesn't seem to be working.
So the only reason I remember that is because he said in his long email, because he's an analytic guy. So I was asking about something like healthy eating, and he goes into this intermittent. Have you heard about this intermittent fasting? And then writes like a 10,000 word article in this email. And the one thing I remember is on exercise days, you can eat ice cream.
That was your takeaway.
That was my takeaway.
Sign me up.
Is that if I eat in that small window, that 8-hour window, that I could have ice cream. So that's how I remember. But yeah, Brandon's in there, and then Michael Florio from NFL.com also in there. Well, who's in your league, Pete?
Bunch of nobodies.
I can't believe I got stuck in a league with Sean. It's like literally unfair.
That would be my nightmare because I draft off of Sean's ranks. So I would be like, that would suck.
And we will have Josh ADHD's app on the RotoGrinders site. So his Scott Fishbowl app, so you can see everybody's draft. You can see who's drafting who, all the different stats. There's more apps out there also kind of in the spirit of Scott Fishbowl. But with the Josh ADHD app, I know for a fact you can look up the people who you think are sharp and who they are drafting and like their draft board. And it does help. So there you go. All right. Legit or bit? Legit or bit? Bryson's diet, Davis.
It is. I think it is not a bit. I think this dude's literally slugging about 8 protein shakes a day combined with like a whole package of bacon. This guy is really. I didn't
see that much of a difference between the before and after picks. Like it was like maybe 10 pounds muscle max.
No.
Let me read.
I'm taking the hard over on 10
Let
pounds.
me read the diet that was posted recently for people. So breakfast, 4 eggs, 5 bacon strips, toast, 2 to 3 protein shakes, while playing Go Macro bars, several, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, protein shake every 6 holes, 3 total. Post round, snacks, another protein shake. Dinner, steak, potatoes, 2 more protein shakes. That's a day in the life of Bryson DeChambeau.
Can't like as he driving,
I'm laughing
I'm
and Kitchen's
following.
like, that sounds about right.
Kitchen's like, what do I? Is this? Kitchen's like, is this how I get good at golf?
What? Is this the Bryson diet? But how is he driving the ball like way farther than he was previously, Davis?
I mean, he's driving the ball further than anyone on tour. Rory had a quote after they played together 2 weekends ago of being like, holy shit, like I can't on my best day, I can't hit it that far. He did the math, dude. Bryson literally did the math and was like, okay, I'm going to give up this part of my game by being too bulked up, but I'm going to gain, X amount of strokes from being able to hit the ball 20 yards further, that it ends up being worth it because he solved the golf.
Is he working out at Planet Fitness?
I heard he went to the one in West Virginia.
He's got to learn how to still, because before it was all like thinking, right? He was using his brain, and now he's relying too much on bulk, where he's trying to use his muscle to get him in spots that are very minor, beneficial to him. He's trying to hit it, like this is going terribly what I'm trying to explain, but basically he's trying to hit it in narrow spots, and it's not working very well in some instances.
It is. He has 3 straight top 10s. He's destroying everyone while being.
But I'm talking about like par 5s here, where it's like he's trying to push it, a 360.
I mean, he is. So like his misses, he's hitting shots where like no one else on a golf course has ever hit a shot from there because he's in such weird spots. Yeah.
Tuttle, like are you boomering this take? You're like, I just wish he'd hit it nice and easy, straight down the middle. None of these kids just trying to Gilmore it to the green.
I was sweating him a little bit last week, and he just he still does stupid things, or he's doing more stupid things now that he's relying on his muscle a little bit.
I mean, he had a miss on the 16th hole last Sunday that was so bad. His miss, he was hitting from over a bunker on the left side of the course that they said no one has hit a shot from here all week, and there was like no backstop on the green for his shot because no one ever approaches it from that way. And he burned, like it was the exact shot he wanted, but he burned it 20 feet past the hole because it's literally like the course is not even meant to be able to be played that way.
Tuttle, where did you come in on exposure this week with the field around 30% on him?
Oh, I only played. So my one golf sweat per week is now letting each of my kids and my wife pick one golfer, then I pick the last golfer, and so I have 0%, which would be underweight.
So let me hear, who were the picks? Who did the kids pick?
The 3-year-old picked Christian Bezuidenhout. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sounds good to me.
As long as none of them took Scheffler, you're probably fine.
Oh, I know who you're going to be mad at. The 2-year-old took Patrick Reed, who Davis is going to hate.
How did the 2-year-old select him? Just curious.
He just goes up and down a little bit, and then he just picks whoever he wants. He just clicks on it and goes and points at it. Basically, long story short, I have the worst golfer picked with Snedeker.
You know, this would be a great TikTok series, the video each week of the family making the lineup.
Just telling
especially once we ship the Millie.
But you need the recording footage from making the lineup for the narrative to really go through the roof.
That's true.
All right, legit or bent? Tyler Higbee as a what was the original take?
Absolute bit.
Was the original take top 3 tight end or top 5 tight end?
Right now he's going tight end 8. Tight ends. Yeah. Absolute bit. Taking him there.
Peter?
You know, I feel like it's such kind of a hot topic that's kind of dividing our community right now that it's unfair to even take a side. I mean, can't we just all come together and say we like the Rams tight ends? You know, I mean, how hard is that?
I think it's like you have to like one, and you have to think one is going to be a lot like just continuated last year, and that Gerald Everett is just going to watch him from the sideline.
Yeah. No, my take has been that Everett is undervalued and Higbee is overvalued. Their ADP should be closer. And just structurally, I kind of don't like that entire range of like tight end 5 to tight end 10. I like waiting till after Higbee and Hooper go and then getting Hawkinson, Gesicki, Goddard, some of those guys that I perceive as having more upside.
Jonnu.
No.
Jonnu is the most Ladarius Green ass player of all time.
Dalton Davis, Cam Newton.
Davis, you you doubting Jonnu Smith is the new you doubting Derrick Henry from 2019. Jonnu Smith is a man. They're giving him runs.
I'm loving this analysis. Jonnu Smith is a man.
I'm surprised, Davis, because Jonnu Smith actually does feel like a Davis brand.
A Davis player. He was, but now he's too popular.
You're the guy that wrote up Ladarius Green years ago. Like, Jonnu Smith is another iteration of Ladarius Green.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson, dude. Lucy took the football away too many times, you know?
They're going to utilize him in whatever way they can because he is just...
you don't even know, dude. They're going to utilize him.
You didn't touchdown catch versus the Ravens last year in the playoffs. Come on, bro. It's January season. All right. Darren Waller's tight end 5, Pete. So you don't like Waller? Or is it all the different options in that offense now?
Yeah, I think if I had my own rankings, which I still need to adjust, I think I might even be an Ingram over Waller guy. I just am not convinced that we're going to get the Waller we saw for that first half of the season. Especially they add Ruggs. His target share had already plummeted. I just don't think he's going to be their leading target in that offense like he was the first half of the season.
You think it's Renfro that's going to get all the love?
I think it's going to be spread around.
That's what happened last year.
Podfather said the other day that because I was listening to another podcast and when I picked my earbuds, like this was the exact moment where the Podfather said that Renfro would be leading the team in receptions, not Ruggs.
I don't think that's a bad take at all. And again, even though he's not the most exciting second-year player, I mean, targeting these second-year wide receivers who were efficient and solid in their first year is just good process in general. I think he could. I think he could smash his ADP.
Possession wide receivers. All right. Any other legit or bit from you guys?
Pete, do you have one for us?
Legit or bit?
I got one for you. Okay. Fireworks are overrated. Legit or bit?
Legit. Fireworks suck.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
Whoa, Tunnel, you're a big fireworks guy?
And this is coming from a guy. I'm not the old man that's like, oh, don't keep my kids awake while you shoot off fireworks.
I'm surprised. This is more like, Bryson, hit it down the middle and keep your fireworks to yourself.
I mean, I do get annoyed with when we're like 2 weeks in either direction out from the 4th of July and people are shooting off fireworks. That's annoying. But I'll give you a week buffer in between.
Does it make you, like, when you hear someone else doing do you get like patriotic, or you're like, this is summer, this is America? Like, what is the reaction that it invokes in you that
these fireworks from China are amazing?
No, it's
don't
fun,
set
man.
up Tuttle for another comment.
Yeah, let's steer away from the race talk. No, it's fun. Like the kids, there's one firework that you light it and it makes the dog go poop. They like that one. You haven't seen those ones?
Okay, no, I thought you meant literally that it was like a Pavlovian response for your dog when he hears fireworks.
No, fireworks are fun, but keep it within a week window.
Okay, that's a fair take.
I'll say that I think they're overrated, except the one caveat to that is because Nashville downtown used to have like a huge fireworks show. They canceled obviously this year, but the one caveat to that would be Disney. The Disney fireworks this year, I was legit impressed because it wasn't just the fireworks; it was like projecting the movie onto the castle. If you can if we have to get beyond fireworks. There's also the new fireworks that I like. Just mark this down. The new fireworks are going to be these drone shows that like they go and like do different patterns. Like those are going to be the new fireworks in the future. But
what is your guys' favorite firework? I'm asking this because I want to say mine, which is a bottle rocket. Those things were
bottle
so
rockets
fun.
are Roman candles.
Did you ever have Roman candles? Is definitely the answer.
The problem is that I'm 27 now, and it's just like you can't just go and like shoot those at your friends anymore. It's not.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Shoot
did you
it
ever
at your
have like
girlfriend and see how she responds?
We had major bottle rocket Roman candle wars.
Oh yeah,
that was cool when I was like 16 and I'm like high on Percocets at the skate park, but I don't know if it really works out anymore.
Yeah, would definitely encourage eyewear if anyone tries this at home.
I should have met my kids this week and see if they like it.
You get back to back with a guy that has another Roman like 2 Roman candles. Yep. And then you have a guy on each side that lights them for them. And then you take 10 steps and you turn around, and then it's just like slow-mo. You just think of like the camera just circling around the 2 guys, and it's amazing. Shooting 2 Roman candles at each other. Yeah.
That does sound fun. It actually reminds me, Tuttle will probably know what I'm talking about. I haven't seen it of late, but there was a TikTok trend for a while where there'd be like an egg, and a group of friends would spin the bottle, and whoever it landed on had to grab the egg.
Yes,
and
that looks so much fun.
And so the other people just all disperse once they're not the one that's selected, and you just people pelting each other with eggs.
That looks so much fun.
But that was the same thing with the golf thing, right? They would spin the tee, and then whoever it landed on, the guy would hit it, and everyone else would run, and like people were getting pelted with golf balls.
That just sounds dangerous.
I would play the egg one. I'm out on the golf ball one.
And there's also soccer. The same thing with soccer. So everyone's like, it's like spin the bottle, except whoever it lands on gets to punish everybody else.
Did you guys, when you were playing soccer, did you guys ever play that game Butts Up where someone got to play?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Love it.
Of course. Socrdave.
Davis and Tuttle, you guys familiar with Butts Up?
Not familiar with Butts Up.
There's no way that happens anymore in this era, right, Dave?
No, yeah. There's also the one with a tennis ball where it's like you would throw it against the wall, and then you would have to catch it, and if you bobbled it, you have to drop it, and someone could pelt you with it.
We call that wall ball.
If they hit the wall before you did.
Man, and you're younger than I thought, Dave. You're pretty young at heart.
That's not the takeaway I had from that conversation.
Those are classic games.
You're
pretty old.
Takeaway.
My takeaway is that you're older than I thought, Pete.
All right, final closing thoughts. Is that your closing thought, Davis?
Stack your team in the Scott Fish Bowl, or you don't care.
There you go. Peter, what's your closing thought?
My closing thought is a little bit of breaking news, but it is a very heartfelt congratulations to Miami Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki on his engagement. Breaking news. Congratulations, Mike Gesicki. Fins up. If you could give me that +1, I'd really appreciate it.
Tuttle, closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Ignore the haters. Enjoy some fireworks. America.
Thought you might be going.
I'm sure there won't be a spike of cases in 2 weeks on July 21st. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I will say this: we live in a time where there are. And my closing thought is this: we live in a time. We live in a time where there is a lot of adversity.
Oh,
and when you're faced with that adversity, you know what you do? You email Scott Fish. No, you email Scott Fish and you tell him, "I can't do it. I can't do it. Move me to another league." That's what you have to do. Road. You just run. Just run. It's
what you
not,
do
it's 20,
in a
it's
time
2020.
of adversity.
You don't have to take a stand.
And you don't wear a mask.
You don't have to overcome anything. Just run, baby.
Just go to Dairy Queen, get a dilly bar, drive home, and take a walk with your daughter without wearing a mask.
It would be the Swolecast without just ad hominem attacks to close out the show.
That will do it. Sign up for live. Do we pick a lifetime member for the Swolecast?
No, you got to send
iTunes subscription.
Yeah. Honestly, right. I got cold feet about giving away $1 million of surplus value.
The lifetime value if you subscribe to our iTunes feed of $1 million. So
it goes to Brandon Parker, who said, "Pete, I love you, man, but these other guys, I just can't, man. I'm out." Brandon Parker. You're the winner of a
Brandon Parker, come on down.
All the burners are firing this week.
I thought it was not Total Big E.
That was your burner, Dave.
That's your burner, yeah.
He said, finally, the star of the show is back at the helm. So shout out to my Canadian friend, not Total Big E, which is not Total my mom. All right, that will do it. Special thanks to Devin for producing the show and having... I'm just attaching your name to the show so you can't get away from it. And to these guys for being on the show. We'll see you next week. Have a happy, safe 4th of July and a happy, safe Scott Fish Bowl 10 draft. We'll see you later.